In Saudi Arabia, most women cover their face in public. Some women don't even let their own husband see their face. After 30 years of marriage, one man attempted to look at his wife's face, so she divorced him. Dmitry Rublev is a Russian billionaire who recently went through a divorce. In 2014, he was ordered to pay his wife $4.6 billion. It was the biggest divorce settlement of all time, but he wasn't happy about it. So he appealed the court decision and won. The payment was reduced to about $600 million. He's been accused of hiding much of his wealth offshore to avoid handing it over. Either way, his wife doesn't need to worry about money. Some divorcing couples agree to both keep half of their shared assets, but it's not usually done in a literal sense. One Cambodian man did though. He actually cut through their house with a chainsaw and transported his half to a new location. His wife was pretty shocked by the whole thing. She's been left with a three-walled house, and it rains quite a lot in that part of Cambodia. 5 years ago, a 99-year-old man and a 99-year-old woman became the oldest ever couple to get a divorce. They had been married for 77 years, but that ended when the man found out his wife had an affair. The affair happened 60 years before, in the 1940s. He discovered love letters sent to his wife all those years ago and divorced her immediately. He found the letters inside an old chest at their home, which is weird. It took him 60 years to look inside a mysterious old chest. This one couple got married, but their marriage only lasted 2 months. For the entirety of their marriage, the man never updated his relationship status on Facebook. This annoyed his wife to the point where she filed for divorce. That may seem mental, but 20% of American divorces now involve Facebook. That means 10% of marriages are destroyed by Mark Zuckerberg. Richard Batista donated a kidney to his wife in 2001. Showing her gratitude, she filed for divorce in 2005. In divorce negotiations, he demanded she return his kidney. It was the strangest demand the judge had ever heard, but Batista was willing to settle for $1.5 million. His wife didn't have $1.5 million though, and she would obviously die without the kidney, so she was allowed to keep it. This kind of thing is more common than you think. A woman once donated her kidney to her dying husband. This allowed him to make a full recovery, and when he did, he left her for another woman. She demanded he give the kidney back, but once again the organ was seen as a gift, which meant he was allowed to keep it. Last year, a Chinese man won the lottery, which caused his family and friends to celebrate. But before collecting his winnings, he divorced his wife. His wife was the only one who didn't know about his winnings, and was shocked by the sudden nature of their divorce. When her husband collected his winnings one day after their divorce, she realized what had happened. Her friend informed her of his winnings, and she decided to sue him. He was ordered to pay her around $160,000. Caroline Norton was a 19th century writer. She's mostly remembered for her failed attempts to divorce her husband. She left her husband in 1836, which was a time when achieving divorce wasn't easy. She was helped to escape her violent husband by a friend. Her friend was the British Prime Minister. As a result of this, her husband attempted to sue the Prime Minister. The lawsuit failed. Not only was she denied a divorce, but denied access to her 3 children, so she spent the rest of her life campaigning for divorce law reform. In 1996, Prince Charles and Princess Diana divorced. He was and still is first in line for the throne, so their divorce was always going to be a big deal. Every divorce involves the division of assets, but how do you divide up the assets of a future king? That was part of the controversy. She was eventually given £17 million and another 400 grand every year. She lost her title, but was still allowed to live in a palace, which was a bit weird. One of the reasons for their divorce is that the Queen wrote them letters advising it, which is also quite strange. As king, Henry VIII was a bit of a pussy magnet. He had 6 wives, despite divorce being frowned upon. He got around this a few times by having his wives murdered, but he wanted to divorce his first wife. The only problem was the Pope refused to sanction their divorce. He really wanted that divorce though, so he cut ties with the Catholic Church and established the Church of England. This new church would allow him to marry and divorce at will. His divorce cost England its association with the Catholic Church, which at the time was unthinkable, so it caused a few wars, which ended up bankrupting England.